Are we online?
Well,
Have we
hereabouts, somewhere around here, we will.
Yeah,
pop
I guess
online.
we're all kind of online all the time, aren't we?
Whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
Hi, Internet.
Hello, internets.
Hey, Internet.
Hey, look, that sign is pointing to me. It says, I'm Harlow. That sign down.
I'm Mackie,
That down there.
Hey, Internet.
and I'm BJ.
And that's BJ.
This week on the BMFcast,
And over there is Mackie.
It's me.
This is hard to do. It's like mirror acting.
Yeah. What? Acting? Who does that?
Actors.
Oh, they're just acting like they're acting. They're not actually doing any work. They're just acting like they are.
I act like I do work a lot.
Yeah, same here. Actually, I do a lot of work. The problem is it becomes useless pretty quickly. Then it's like, oh yeah, well you should do this other work.
That's the summary of all mankind's achievements.
Pretty much.
It all becomes useless pretty quickly.
Yeah. Think about if you were
Especially
the guy.
on the grand scale of time, you know.
Think about if you were the guy who was like came up with shit for Radio Shack, and then someone handed you an iPhone, and you're
Right.
like, "Ah, motherfucker!
Like,
I
how-
should learn how to work with this thing."
Like, how do I fix this? Where's the drawer full of capacitors
Yep.
to fix this?
God damn. Missed the drawer full of capacitors. I had to get my own drawer full of capacitors
Yeah.
to replace.
You had to get the capacity for your own capacitors?
Yeah, I do. I have an entire like dresser drawer
Hey,
full
man,
of capacitors.
When
now.
your
So
lack
wait.
of capacitors ever gets you
Yeah.
down, just remember, go,
Nah, wrong. That's
So you-
resistors, you nerd.
Are you trying to say you were incapacitated?
Well, now I'm overcapacitated.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Man,
have far and
oh, man.
away more capacitors than I need.
What do you do with them?
You're at max capacitor capacity.
Yeah. Right now, like this moment, I'm doing nothing with them except for having them for when I need them.
Smart, yeah. Capacitor prepping.
Man,
You never know when the government's going to come in and take our capacitors.
stand your ground, capacitor.
You can take my capacitors from a cold dead corpse.
Gonna declare capacitor doctrine.
Stand your
Just
capacitors.
defending
doctrine.
my capacitors.
Capacitor doctrine is good. Yeah.
I do what I can. There are a lot of German reviews for this movie on Letterboxd.
Like how many?
Wait, why is it?
Are there 9?
What is Cage 2?
It is the sequel to Cage.
Is anybody from the first one in it?
All of them.
Oh God, everybody, even the people that.
I don't know.
Spoiler alert.
At least Lou Ferrigno and Reb Brown
Okay.
and Shannon Lee. I don't know who Shannon Lee is. Oh, the daughter of Bruce Lee and sister of Brandon Lee.
I'll find the right movie eventually. IMDb. I almost said Netflix. It's not Netflix.
Don't even bother.
It's not even Netflix.
Just type in Reb Brown and then go scroll through his movies because you're not going to find it otherwise.
Fine.
They have buried it. Buried it.
Well, at least typing Reb space gets you right to Reb Brown.
It should.
You know, it was right below Rebecca Ferguson before I hit space. There you are. Oh. I was going to say, like, I scrolled down in the pictures. I was like, why is there a picture of Jim Carrey? And then I was like, then I looked a little closer. I was like, oh, that's not Jim Carrey. Like, when you scroll on the Cage IMDb page, the first photo,
Hello, Curtis.
at first glance, appears to be Jim Carrey. All right.
Oh, man, you're right.
Yeah.
Who's that loser?
I don't
That's
know.
from Luke Cage. Somebody has incorrectly tagged.
Oh.
Oh, man. This is a hell of a tagline on this poster. Now, for the first time in motion picture history, you can enter where few Americans have ever gone. Two friends are forced into the world of cage fighting, an ancient sport so brutal they must fight for the greatest prize of all.
Life?
Money.
Oh.
Their lives.
Oh.
Actually, it's their lives. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. The greatest prize of all.
A participation ribbon. Not even a trophy.
Cage, you've never seen anything like it. This, man, somebody's selling the fuck out of this movie. Oh, sometimes called The Cage.
Well, we should start the podcast about the Cage.
Would you like to know more about The Cage?
No.
Please do not look directly at The Cage. All right. Let's do this.
Okay.
We should.
The motion was starting to happen. All right, and welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey, BMFcast.
BMFcast.
Episode 597.
That sure is some numbers.
Almost there.
It's getting there.
Almost there.
So I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
And what we do each and every episode of this here BMFcast, we go and watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Then we come in here and talk about it. Eventually, they get ratings. Good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. They get 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Robot Jocks.
Robot Jocks.
That's the good scale.
It is good.
However, there are bad movies and stay away. They get a negative sliding scale. 1 to 5 bags isn't giant bags of trash.
Boo.
No,
Those
thank
are
you.
movies that we do not enjoy.
No.
Not approved.
Well, as we are wrapping this BMFcast party up, trying to show everyone that the door, saying they don't have to go home, but they can't stay here. We're kind of trying to revisit some of our favorites, people that have brought us the most joy, or just long-standing people.
Yes. So this week we're watching a movie with Al Young in it.
Well, there's that.
There's a list.
I mean, there's Danny Trejo in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this
Uh,
was the main draws.
The main draw was that it's starring Reb Brown.
Oh,
starring Reb Brown.
Reb Brown!
I thought you were going to say Dana Lee.
I
Who?
wasn't. Who was Dana Lee? Is that
Yeah,
the
who's
lady?
Dana Lee?
He was the second in command
Oh.
to,
Pang.
yeah, he was Pang.
He is a BMFcast alum.
I'm sure.
Plenty of times.
I know he's at
He's
least
also
been
in-
on an extra.
He's also in First Blood Part.
And also, he's hungry. I don't know. You said Pang. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, the main characters are Reb Brown and Lou Ferrigno, a.k.a. Hercules, a.k.a. the Hulk.
It's the Hulk and Captain America.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or our versions of them.
Yeah.
Back together again for the first time.
Yeah. But other than that, it's got Branscombe Richmond
Yeah.
in it. It's got James Shigeta
Mm-hmm.
of Die Hard fame.
Right.
Yeah.
Joseph Takagi. That's a nice suit.
Yeah. So there's a lot of dudes. We're like, oh shit. And Al Young actually gets to say things.
He does.
Like he gets a lot of lines in this movie.
And then you realize why they haven't let him speak so much in other movies. Because look, he doesn't have a bad voice. The voice doesn't match looks.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a...
and not in the way you'd expect. Like not in the vaguely racist way. It's just that noise doesn't sound like it should come out of that man.
does.
It's a small voice. Let's just say that it's not a commanding voice. It's an inside voice, not a like I'm gonna fuck you up with
Inside
like
voice.
it's kind of soft. Like what's who's the British guy, the Rage guy that we always make fun
Gary
of?
Daniels?
Yeah, Gary Daniels.
Oh, Gary Daniels.
I'm just saying like we make fun of his accent, but like that's got to be one of the things that majorly held him back in getting bigger action roles is that your voice does not fit with your looks and what you're doing. It's hard to sell.
Yeah. We should also note Al Ruscio is in this movie.
Yeah.
He was in Showgirls.
Okay.
What else do we know him from?
I don't know.
Was he in like
Was he in Angels with
Casino
Filthy Souls?
or
No.
what is he in like one of the Scorsese? He just seems like a
He was in Godfather Part 3.
okay. I was gonna say he seems like one of the background people in a Godfather or Goodfellas
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Like not a major person, but
But he was also in The Phantom, which we have never reviewed.
word bitch.
He was also in 1959's Al Capone.
Well, a decorated career that
R.I.P. in
continued
2013.
into
Road
that
maps.
continued into Cage.
Anywho,
So,
yes.
speaking of Cage,
Yeah, this
Yeah.
movie starts in Vietnam, 1969.
Yeah.
In the middle of the
Nice.
shit.
Yeah,
First person view. Reb Brown is running through the shit.
yeah.
They're being shot
The
at.
shit, Blade.
And they're yelling, where's the chopper? The chopper is supposed to be here.
Like you do.
And, they're shooting and running, and eventually they get to the rendezvous point. And still no choppers, so, more yelling, more screaming for the chopper. Chopper comes in. People are getting shot. Mostly, well, it's like 40, we'll say
60-40,
Viet Cong army. It's just random dudes, and they didn't even, bother even remotely coming close to anything resembling uniforms or, I understand most
They
of it.
just threw some
Quote,
branches
unquote.
on them.
Have you heard of the war called Vietnam?
Well, I understand the quote-unquote black pajamas, but, it was still kind of like most people wore that.
Guerrilla,
yes.
They look like guerrilla warfare units or whatever. Yeah. They're not wearing. It's just dudes. It's Asian dudes from the casting call.
Yeah, but it's Red Brown. I think 2 or 3 other random dudes that just kind of get picked off here and there, and Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
One of the dudes gets picked off when the chopper lands. Lou Ferrigno, fireman carries him over his shoulder, gets to the chopper. Red Brown stays behind for some reason. I don't know.
He's just still fighting them off.
Sure. I guess.
Yeah, he wanted to use some of his kickboxing moves,
but I'm saying,
as well as
at this
brandishing a Desert Eagle or whatever.
Right, but at this point, who is he protecting? He's not protecting a point. Everyone around him is dead. It's just
he should have been retreating
right,
with Lou Ferrigno, but
anyway, so eventually he does. While the chopper is we got to get out of here, and so they end up having to do Lou Ferrigno does the True Lies grab outside the helicopter and. Is
and Red Brown catches it in the shoulder.
Yeah,
and then but Lou Ferrigno,
as Lou Ferrigno grabs him, he catches it in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and to the head, not a religious place. Yeah.
And apparently, it doesn't hit the part of the brain that would go, "Hey, let go of him,"
or the part of the brain that would kill him instantly.
Correct.
Oh, you mean the brain?
Now, people have been shot in the brain.
Yes, that is correct. Not many.
I will say.
Well, also,
the success rate is low.
Let's also take a poll.
But it's not zero.
On how many of them wanted to after the fact.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
So
okay. Yeah, you are correct there.
Right.
But, and that's when we go to credits.
Yep. Movie's over.
And man, the opening credits to this, so good.
Oh man, it is.
It's so good.
Look. When this started, I got to be honest. I was like, oh god, we got Heart of the Dragon here. I thought we came for action and we're watching somebody take care of their mentally challenged friend or brother or whatever.
Yes. Because Reb recovers from his shoulder pretty quickly, but basically stays in the hospital with Lou Ferrigno for months.
Moral support.
Even though he's already recovered, it seems like. He's just in the VA.
Yeah.
Just hanging out next to his buddy.
Yeah, and they're montaging him a little bit because he starts and he's full Bride of Frankenstein wrapped up, and then it just becomes a little bit less on his face, and and Red Brown's out of the bed.
Yeah, but it's just played over this. Basically, the only way it can be described as love theme from Cage.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
it's so inappropriate.
Yeah, it is.
It's a full-on love ballad.
And it's basically the punchline, the chorus, whatever is the I don't know. I know songs don't have punchlines, but it's "Never Let Go," I believe, is what the chorus is. Thus the the symbolism is not lost on us. I understand this, but yeah, I swear that this whole thing is done completely. There's no dialogue or sounds coming.
No,
it's
all
just
music
all,
and
montage
names coming up on the bottom over who's in the movie.
I swear there were a couple times when they had shots of Red Brown sitting in his bed. He kept looking over to Billy, Lou Ferrigno's character, and I was like, is he mouthing "I love you"? I just kept looking, it just looked like "I love you, man." It just really looked like
Possibly.
he was mouthing that and stuff. I mean, look,
and
the
here's
guy,
the thing.
to be fair, the guy did save his life. I mean, if you don't love them, who do you love?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you love? I mean,
well, and the thing is too, this is so, it's played so much like a romance in the opening scenes that just honestly is not there the rest of the movie. I feel we're plenty eager to point out when there's just like the weird gay subtext that
sure.
like unintentional or intentional. Either way, like we're always like, yeah, like look at this shit.
Yeah.
But this movie, I just feel like the rest of the movie does not have any of that removed out of this credit sequence.
Well, that's good because it would be creepy for. Well, I mean,
also, yes.
I mean, it would be
smartly played.
It would be sort
by
of
the filmmakers.
Leon professional creepiness levels of like,
because Reb Brown has helped him rehab, does all this stuff. And then, and it's shown that, like, he does some cognitive tests, and Lou Ferrigno gets very angry because he can't figure them out. And, Reb's like, oh, no, just here. Helps him through with them.
Yeah, I mean, just through this montage, you can tell he is I Am Sam'd bad. Because, like, I mean, he's getting green eggs and ham stuff read to him and stuff like that. Yeah.
Reb does read him a book that says bedtime stories,
right.
and it's clearly illustrated.
Yeah.
So
I'm just like, even without anything being said, it's like, oh.
Yeah, his brain has been...
damaged.
Yeah, it is. He has been reduced to a childlike state.
Right. So. Yeah. I mean, even without words, we know that is happening, and then we get to see him acting that out and not winning Oscars. We'll just say that.
Yeah. Is this the movie that they were talking about?
I mean, no. Actually, I think I just referenced the one that was the first. Like, oh, that's why you don't do that. You didn't win anything. I mean, I Am Sam. I think was the like.
No, it was Radio that was the one that they...
Is that what they were specifically making fun of?
Yeah, they were making fun of Radio.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, this one does have a couple Oscar scenes for Lou Ferrigno. Like,
oh boy!
Like here's where you go for it, Lou. But yeah, we get into the movie and it's Los Angeles, 1989. So it's been 20 years later.
Yeah.
God.
And apparently these buds moved to L.A. and just opened up a bar.
Yeah, I guess.
And it seems like they've been running that bar since.
Yeah.
And that bar sucks.
It does. L.A. 1989, by the way, is somewhere that I desperately want to go. Like,
a lot of cool shit happened
I would
there.
like to have a gun with me and several large men.
A lot of cars ramped over things in 1989.
I don't know if you can do, like, emphysema, like, is there like a vaccine for like
a vaccine for emphysema?
Yeah, I don't know, but like just saying, like you might want to take that too,
and also for lead in the blood.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, like this starts it starts with the Vietnam stuff, but I mean, like once we see L.A., it is like the same color palette as Predator 2, that like pink smog, before the catalytic converter times and stuff, like L.A. when it was just really bad. Yeah. So anyway.
I just want to be there long enough to see it for like a week. I don't think I'd get emphysema in a week.
Probably not. Yeah. Just bring some canned air, some Perrier.
Yeah.
But yeah. By the way, this bar is called Incoming.
It is,
and it's a Vietnam explosion themed bar run by two veterans, likely both. Well, one has
severe brain
damage, and probably PTSD.
And the other one is Lou Ferrigno.
Correct. Game, set, match. Anyway.
I couldn't... come on. I'm not going to pass that up.
Yeah.
But yes, it is an inappropriately named bar, which will continue over to basically everything involving anyone Asian in this movie, being incredibly inappropriate in the way that they are treated and the way that they act and the way that people refer to them.
Oh yeah, the way they're spoken to in this movie is just continually awful, especially when the special guest star arrives.
And this isn't even from the like 2024 lens. This is just from the lens of being a human being to another person.
Absolutely, no. This was absolutely 100% awful still in 1989. Like my 12-year-old self would have been like, dude.
Yeah. Just slow it down, man. But no. So that's where they are now. They apparently live together. And it really feels like Reb Brown is basically has adopted him, for lack of a better phrase for it, but he is, he seems to be like his guardian, and
he's Chewbacca. It's a life debt thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he definitely like he he takes care of them. Like, they're like, oh, we'll watch wrestling together, all that stuff, because apparently that's what brain damaged people do is watch wrestling. So
I relate to that.
according to this movie, I'm just presenting facts. That's all.
There's nothing wrong with being brain damaged and watching wrestling.
There really isn't. There are worse things you could do with
Your Monday nights?
with brain damage.
I mean, I would rather watch wrestling than the so-called reality television, any Housewives or
wrong.
whatever. I mean, wrestling at least has got production to it, if nothing else.
And good costumes.
Yeah.
And jumping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you never have to find out who rules Vanderpump.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
It's
Me
a good
either.
thing. I don't either.
Yeah.
And I see commercials for it all the time, and I don't understand what it is. But anyway, so we have established our main characters.
Mm-hmm.
Now we must establish the cage
Yes.
of the title. So
See, it's actually a metaphor. The cage is the mind.
No,
that
it's
Lou
not.
Ferrigno is now trapped
No,
in.
it's not a metaphor at all. There's a real cage in this movie.
There was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
yeah,
The big thing where they did all the fighting.
there's a local fighting ring.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Run by the Tong.
Yeah,
It's a
I think there's more than one. I think it's
It isn't.
Tongs. Yeah.
it's
it's-
Okay.
Asian
yeah.
mafia.
That's
Thing.
how you
gotta
pick things
click
up.
them 3 times
Yeah.
before you pick the stuff up.
Yeah, run by a character named Tin Lum Yin.
Yeah.
That's the guy from Die Hard.
I'm pretty sure he's wearing the same suit.
He might be.
I really feel like he is. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably his own suit.
Yeah, but they're running a fighting ring. We see a few fights that are okay. I'll say this: none of the fights in this are particularly good.
Nothing is
Nope.
shot amazingly well. There are. It's not. I mean, I've seen worse. Like, at least
Yeah.
the action geography and stuff in the car chase is competent enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that there are several bad potential, things that seem like they want to be match cuts, or I don't know
Yeah.
if it was just to mess with your expectations or whatever. But yeah, I mean, anyway, we'll get to it.
Yeah. But they've got underground cage matches, and we are introduced to it very quickly. There's a lot that's shown in this first fight because there is the woman who is secretly taking pictures by lifting, basically opening up the jacket by her waist and just snapping away with a giant not DSLR, but
Giant SLR.
Yeah, like a 35
Yeah,
millimeter.
just remove the D,
Camera.
which is a good.
And she
thing
is
for,
disguised as just a man in a suit with a hat.
Yeah. But she looks like multiple kids stacked together wearing a hat
She
and
does
a coat.
look like a Muppet Man.
Yeah.
Honestly,
but we see her, and should we just cover her storyline now
I
and
was
get
gonna
it out of the
say,
way?
I'm not trying to be remotely misogynistic or say things like Mary Sue or any bullshit terms like this. I have never seen a more useless character in a fucking movie ever. I mean,
Yeah.
serves literally no purpose.
I cannot figure out what plot line. Well, obviously there's
cut something.
Yeah.
there's an undercover cop plot line
Sure.
that they cut a lot out of, but why did they leave any of that in?
Because she's in too many scenes for her not to be in the movie.
At no
but-
point is there
guess.
does the plot of uncovering this Tong crime thing, at nowhere do we see that except for her showing up and snapping pictures. It is never we don't never see meeting with, if you just get me this proof or write this story. There's nothing.
Yeah, we
There's
don't
nothing-
know.
nothing
Is she a
connected.
journalist?
I guess.
I think she was supposed to be.
Sure.
We
maybe.
honestly, that's the thing is we see her taking pictures 2 or 3 times, being followed by Ao Leong, and then being captured
Yeah.
later on. But also, when Reb Brown eventually meets her, they know each other.
Somehow.
They have never been introduced over the course of the movie, at least.
No.
So we have no. So they clearly cut a whole storyline involving her.
Yeah. But I'm
And-
just saying what's left is one of the most useless characters in the
Yeah.
movie ever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's there honestly because they filmed so many scenes that she's in that they couldn't cut her out.
Yeah. I mean, 80s action movies are famous for oh no, we got to put a lady in there because otherwise, what are the wives and girlfriends going to do while the guy's watching this movie? This will make them want to watch it or go to the movie with them.
Yeah.
And there have been lots of useless, victims or arm candy or whatever else that has happened. But I mean, like, oh my god, like it's just literally nothing for this character that happens in this movie.
It does not evolve. Literally nothing.
Yeah.
The only action she contributes to is taking off her pants.
Okay. Yeah.
So that they can help. So she can help them build a fire.
Yeah.
That is literally the only thing that she actually does that influences the plot.
There's a whole like.
It could have just been another random person that just happened to be
Yeah.
kept
It
in there. I'm
really
just saying,
could
like,
have been.
no backstory was required for that.
Yep.
There's a whole 3 or 4 minute scene where she sneaks into a warehouse
And they
or
show
sneaks
them,
into the warehouse where the cage is, and hides.
It doesn't.
It takes so fucking
Yeah,
long. Yeah,
like,
she
like
just
her
hides.
pulling the fire escape ladder down and
Oh,
going
my
all
God.
the way up it. And,
Yeah, this movie is one of those bad culprits of, hey, we shot this, so we're using it.
Right.
Like even like scenes where somebody like parks their car and walks in, and like before the director yelled cut, and they just have just the footage of the street as the person has already left the scene. The editor just left it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of that sort of shit.
Yeah, I mean, editing 101 is, she's going in that building, watch her walk up, grab the fire escape, cut to her walking in the window.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
It's just like, I figure out where, he fixes the cable. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, I figure out what happens
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why you shoot the whole thing. You don't know when you need to insert something, whatever.
Yeah.
But
That's why you shoot the whole thing.
yeah, you just
Lord
you
of
don't know
mercy.
when you'll need to use it. You don't use it.
but
like
leave
that's
some
the
of it
thing.
on the floor.
Yeah. But anyway, so she's there, but also the big thing we're introduced is Tony and Mario are the two guys that are mobsters, Italian mobsters, obviously, because their names are Tony and Mario. But they're just there to gamble. They're there for the fights. They're there to bet on guys, and
They're the. I would say they're the shitty gangsters because like they're bad at it. Like he's in debt with everybody, so
Yeah.
he's
yeah,
shitty.
Tony owes a shit ton of
yeah,
money.
he's shitty in that terms. I mean, they're all shitty, but
They're also there to have a fighter try to fight the champion, and the champion is a guy named Chang. He is a large dude.
Yeah,
he's not. I mean, I wouldn't
he's
want to
basically
fight him.
their ringer.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight him, but he's not as far as casting goes, he's not a particularly like, oh my god, kind of menacing character. He's
it's not like that dude from Bloodsport.
He's not Tong Po or any of those guys. It's just like like I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight him, but I'm not immediately
He just looks like
scared
a
of
big
him.
dude.
Yeah,
yeah. So he murders a couple fighters. Apparently, Tony and Mario had bet on the other fighter who got murdered, and the usual. So we find out that they owe a ton of money to the diehard guy.
Yeah,
who's running the fights.
Tin. I was gonna say what's his
10.
10.
We can call
Yeah.
it 10.
So, and they're like, shit, because they are told in no uncertain terms that they need to come up and meet with him right now.
Right.
He's
It's
like,
like
I'll come back tomorrow. They're like, no, you will not come back tomorrow. You will go to the office right
he's-
now.
One of Tin's henchmen is this like almost albino Asian guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like-
great.
He basically looks like Asian Guy Pearce from Memento. I'm just
Yeah.
saying like that like platinum blonde level of hair.
Yeah, like like eyebrows
Yeah.
are stark white.
Right.
Yeah, he looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get to do very much cool stuff, but he sure looks cool throughout the movie.
Yeah, he's sort of like that dude from God damn it, what's Barry? That weird looking guy who's the bald guy.
I know who you're talking about. Yep.
I'm just saying he's got an interesting looking face where it's like you could just show up in a scene and it's like, what's he gonna do or say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
For
wanna
this guy,
know
it's
more.
nothing but boss people around a little bit, really.
Yeah, but we are told no uncertain terms that Tony needs to pay up within 3 days, or he's going to have some serious problems.
Right.
Yeah, and so the two of them, Tony and Mario, they're bummed. They lost their fighter lost, so they're just going to go drink their sorrows away in the shitty incoming bar. And we're briefly introduced to the woman who works at the incoming, who is just like, I've been here more years than I can count. I know the tax man's coming to take the place. I got 10 grand squirreled away. If it'll help keep it open, I'll give it to you, Reb Brown, because this is the only place I've ever known as a home. And
It's not like I honestly thought this was her bar. Like the
Right.
way it's played off at first, and then
Yeah.
you find out like Reb Brown owns it and she's the employee / manager, whatever. Yeah.
yeah, but we learn, okay, they're in debt. Like the bar's not doing well because despite having pinball and what appears to be a Swords of Fury machine in the back,
Yeah.
it still sucks. And that's tough to do if you have a fucking Swords of Fury machine
Yeah.
in your bar.
Mainly, it's just there's a shitload of old people, and that's all of their bar clientele. Sorry, old people, but
Man, their schnapps supply must have been crazy.
right.
Drinking water in Werther's,
Yeah. Just de Kuiper.
leaving a 10% tip.
10%, they lift a nickel.
Yeah.
That's the kind of people these people are.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A buffalo nickel.
I don't know,
Wooden
man.
nickel.
In 1989, a nickel was worth like $500 now. So, you know.
Sure,
fair
a
enough.
nickel wasn't a bad tip, really.
I mean, the equivalent nickel.
Okay, the equivalent of a nickel.
Yeah.
So,
well, a
so
penny.
literally a grain of sand.
Yes.
Yeah.
A nickel equivalent.
But yeah, and this is, I guess they just, they were going to drown their sorrows here at this bar, and they picked, Branscombe Richmond's, roustabout night, because he basically comes in with his, by the way, Branscombe Richmond, who I believe we've historically identified as Hawaiian, I believe.
Perhaps.
At least some sort of Polynesian, but yeah.
He
no,
gets a little
Native
Lou
American.
Diamond
Oh, is he?
Phillips.
Okay, all right.
He's
I
Native
thought
American.
we looked up and it was Polynesian. But anyway,
Nope.
in this movie, he's playing a Latino gangster.
I believe a Mexican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Because that's what you do.
sure.
When you have a vague ethnicity, you just get cast as whatever the hell they feel like casting you as.
I mean,
much.
yeah, it's not the worst geographical hate
Sure,
crime.
yeah.
I'm just saying, Native American, Mexican.
Geographical hate crime.
I'm saying, the farthest away from what you actually are portraying.
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, you're actually
Yeah.
next door. But anywho, but yeah, so he comes in and is just starting to do the oh, we're gonna have a party. What's with all the old people? Just kind of getting in people's face and being that guy. And Red Brown's trying to, what can I get you guys? And
Yeah.
they eventually get.
Meanwhile,
rough.
Tony and Mario are at the bar.
Yeah, they're
for
just
some reason.
watching this. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were like getting ready to leave, and they're like, let's not do that right yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they. And at first I was like, why are they being sent here? Like, are they trying to shake down the bar or something? But no, they're just assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's just a group of toughs.
Yeah, and he's for some reason he's one of the toughs is grabbing on Mimi come on, let's go dance, and it's yeah, Grandma, let's go shake a rug. I don't know, but
Well, she is the youngest woman in the room.
probably yes,
by far.
sure. But somebody at the table doesn't like that, and tries to intervene and gets slapped, and then Mimi gets slapped, and that immediately sets off Billy, Lou
Yeah.
Ferrigno's character.
Well, no, that sets off
No,
Red
it
Brown.
sets off Red
yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, it's
Because Billy's
oh, that's right.
hanging
Billy's
out.
off playing. He's playing Tempest in the corner. He's not even paying attention to anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
The fight Donniebrooks around for a minute or two until somebody stumbles into
Right.
Lou Ferrigno, Billy.
Yeah.
Billy.
Drink your orange juice.
Billy. And then he turns around, sees what's going on, and goes into, Hulk rage and basically tackles a group of 3 or 4 people.
Yeah. I mean, the Red Brown and Lou Ferrigno basically just end up wiping the floor with these guys,
Yeah.
more or less. And
Yeah.
and Tony and Mario see this, and they're like, "Hey, both of these guys are good. I wonder if we could get either one of them to participate."
Yeah.
And they said some unkind things about Billy's mental state. I mean, as they were just kind of watching him around the bar. I think maybe they were just there, rough scouting. Because I mean, even before Branscombe Richmond and company came in, I think they were commenting he's a big guy. What about him? Just talking,
Yeah, because so these guys are not very good
Right.
fighter pickers, I guess.
Oh, they're the
Scouts.
fucking worst, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even
Okay.
grace them with the word scout. They're bad fighter pickers.
They're
and-
sub rangers.
Yeah. And so maybe they're just trying to pick somebody out, find a local bar. But they go up to Red Brown and they're like, "Hey, so you look like you can fight. Do you want to fight for us?"
Mm-hmm.
And Red Brown smartly says, "No, thank you."
Yeah.
And he's like, so
Then they're like, well, how about your big friend there? And he's like, no, he doesn't want to either. They're like, well, how about we ask him, let him speak for himself? He's like, no, I can speak for both of us.
yeah.
No, thank you.
And he's like, "I take care of everything for Billy," tipping off the fact that he takes care of everything for Billy, and Billy may not be capable of taking care of things for himself.
Yeah.
And they try to take Billy outside.
Well, they do. I
They
mean,
do
I
take-
think Billy
they-
just
Yeah, they
just goes
meet
outside.
Billy as he's throwing one of the tough's bodies into their convertible so that
Yeah.
when they wake up they can just drive home.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very kind of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did kind of just like throw them all in there like sardines because I think like the legs
Yeah.
were like sticking out the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but they're like, "Hey, buddy, you want to do some fighting?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't like fights. No."
I don't like to fight.
Yeah. And they're like, "Well, what if it was a fun fight?" And he's like,
Like wrestling.
yeah, that sounds like fun." And then but they're just like, but he ends up saying, "No, I should no."
Yeah, I gotta go talk to
Reb Brown. What is his name?
Sam?
Scott.
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 Yeah. Scott and Billy. But yeah, so he goes back inside and they're like, "Huh, we should get that guy." And do they come to the house the next day? Or do they just say, "No, they don't"?
No,
What
they go.
do?
Yeah,
These fucking guys.
these assholes.
These
They're
guys
total
are
assholes.
pieces of shit. Because what they do is then they find Branscombe Richmond.
Yeah, Diablo, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're just like, "Hey, you really hate those guys who whooped your ass last night, huh?" He's like, "Yeah, I fucking hate them." And they're like, "Well, what? How about this? What if you got to burn down their bar and we paid you to do it?" And then they're like, he's like, "Oh, fuck yeah, I'd do it, yeah." And he's like, "But nobody can die. Like you can't. Nobody gets
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah, you're burning down the bar, not
Yeah,
people.
yeah. You're just burning down the bar. Nothing else."
Yeah, and his second in command, I guess, Diablo's second in command, Diablito maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, but what if I want to hurt somebody? Like that's sort of my thing. Is like I hurt people."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "No,
Like, no.
they're
Nobody,
paying us
get-
money to do it.
Yeah.
Don't hurt anyone."
Mhm.
He's like, "Fine."
Yeah.
But I could go burn the place down right now while there are people in it, and that would be great too, right?
Yeah, yeah. And they're like, "No, it's nighttime. It's going to be full of people."
Yeah, that's how
No.
That's how bars work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for this bar,
Yeah, this
technically
part-
it has people in it, but
Yeah, happy hour is probably like 3:30 to 4:30.
yeah, it's a blue glass special. But yeah, so Tony's gonna pay them like a few $100s to burn the place down,
Yeah.
and they say okay.
Yeah, and the reason he's doing this is because not only does he owe money to the Chinese mafia, he owes money to the regular Italian mafia as well because they've
Yeah.
come to his house and roughed him up.
Oh,
Yeah,
what is the Italian mafia, the regular mafia?
You know why?
I mean,
because mafia is an Italian term.
Yeah,
all right, fine, you have me there.
you can't.
You have bested me with your logic and wit.
So apologies. Yeah,
So he owes, by the way, $100,000 to the Tongs. He owes $75,000 to the Italians.
yeah.
He
He owe a lot.
He's an idiot.
Yeah. I don't even know how you get that far.
Shit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, because by the end, he's like offering his car. They're like,
Yeah.
"Sir, you have nothing to bet with." He's like, "How about my car?" And then the
this-
guy's like, "I have no need for an automobile."
Is this where we talk about his voice?
Who?
By the way,
Tony
Tin-
or Mary?
Tin.
Oh,
Oh,
Tin.
Takagi? Yeah.
Yeah.
He had imagine George Takei, but a little bit less camp.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that kind of voice, and he
Yeah.
uses the shit out of it
Yeah.
throughout this entire
He
movie.
should have been in more stuff.
It's
He
decay.
should
it,
have
it rhymes
been.
with gay,
Fine.
as he says himself.
All right.
Because he is.
George
I'm saying.
Takei, but a
Yeah.
little less
Wait,
camp.
what?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
Yes, he uses his voice to great effect this entire movie. Kind of like that,
Mhm.
but cooler.
Yes.
Yes, that's why the scenes with him and Hans Gruber are so fucking great because it's just lots of like air back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so he has hired these guys to basically burn the place down, and so they immediately go to the bar, and it's at least it's daytime now, but Bethany or whatever the lady's
Mimi.
name is,
She's going to be a screaming Mimi.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
God.
because Mimi's like moving bottles of beer, moving crates in the back,
Working in the storeroom, yeah.
and he just sneaks the crazy dude sneaks in and he's like, "Burn, motherfucker," and just chucks a Molotov in there.
One Molotov I need to...
One Molotov. And apparently, like, those beer bottles were filled with gasoline.
All they stock is Bacardi 151.
Yeah.
It's extremely
Everclear,
flammable
Holy
in there.
shit.
Yeah.
Because that guy goes outside. He's like, haha, it's on fire. And you see a little smoke. And then all of a sudden, it's like,
It's a full fucking explosion.
yeah, it is a full fucking plume coming out that door.
It's a lot. It's
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And you hear Mimi's screaming
Yeah.
from inside.
Yep. She did.
Right.
Yeah, that sort of match cuts into sirens, and then he's like, I should probably go.
Yeah.
I just committed arson for $400.
Yeah.
And murder.
Yeah,
And
and murder.
murder,
Yeah,
yeah.
and murder.
Yeah. But the cops go to Red Brown's house, and they're just like,
What a fucking crazy scene. Like, how long it takes these fucking cops to get out of their car and fuck with their
Oh my
nightsticks,
God.
putting them back in the belt,
Yep.
and then walk up to the door.
We also see them driving up the block,
yeah,
parking.
like everything. And then they get to the scene, right? And they walk, and they're like, hey, are you
Yeah.
Red Brown? And he's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Red Brown. And they're like, Red Brown, you own this bar, right? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, it burned down, and your employee's dead. Sorry to be the ones to tell you. And then they turn around and they fucking walk away.
Yeah.
That's just how policing was in 1989.
Like, no question. Like, not even not like, hey man, like we need a statement. Where were you when this happened? None of that. They're just like, hey dude, your bar burned down, and whoever that chick was.
Dead.
Come
Yeah.
on. He was white in 1989 and male. Do you really think he committed a crime? Come on. Pfft.
He's also a veteran.
Oh, and a veteran.
Yeah,
He was a
veteran.
troop, so he was definitely getting the benefit
I'm
of the
just
doubt
saying.
there.
I mean, like,
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
the
1989
build-up for
was
this
still
line.
pretty close to. We hadn't had the troop resurgence yet.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
this is true.
well, the first free troop resurgence happened with Desert Storm. That was
Right.
the pre 9/11.
Yeah.
Like that's when we were like,
Yeah, that's what I-
let's
yeah,
put
they were
ribbons
a
on
couple of
stuff.
years.
what I mean.
They were a
Yeah.
couple of years too early for it
Yeah.
Yep.
to be really fully recognized.
But yeah, the ludicrousness of this scene of just like the setup for them to, it plays off like a comedy thing. Like I don't know. It's just like the build up
so
to
wild.
it just feels like that, like run, like a Spaceballs
It's almost like
thing.
they were going to say, like, we regret to inform you that your only employee who was there at the time has lived. Have a nice day. And walk away.
Yeah, but Billy does overhear this, and he goes in the back and just kind of sits on the weight bench and is like, "I'm going to miss her,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "It's going to be okay, buddy. We're gonna figure this out."
And our next scene is
Well, he
our
goes.
next scene is Billy sifting through the ashes, right?
Yeah. Scott Red Brown is going
Or,
through
yeah,
the ashes
sorry.
there, and then the lady from the bank's like, "Well.
What
Look
if-
what happened to your place."
what
And
a
he's like,
weird
"Yeah,
scene.
man, it burned down." And she's just like, "Yeah, well, that sucks, but you still owe $50,000 to the bank. So how are you going to pay that now?"
Yeah, why'd you have your insurance policy written 15 years ago when things were cheaper, dumbass?
Yeah.
We can't even afford to build
basically
up your
this
bar.
lady's like, "Hey, buddy, fuck off.
What was
You
weird
and
is
your
like,
bar."
this lady shows up. I mean, she looks enough like Mimi from before that I
Yeah.
was like, is this Mimi's daughter? It's like,
No.
yeah, no, absolutely not.
It's just some
Just-
bitch.
yeah.
Like just there to be a complete bitch to him.
Yeah.
Apologies to women, but
Yeah.
this one.
No, I'm sorry. This character, like,
This one sucks.
irredeemable asshole.
No, I mean,
She's-
like, bitch is non-gender specific in this case because, like, anyone
Yeah.
who gets into a job like insurance just to like for the thrill of telling people no.
Yeah, and she's also like, I'm very busy. I don't have time for this, but
Yeah. If
Life sucks.
if your job is denying
Goodbye.
insurance claims or anything like that, I'm sorry, but you're
yeah,
a bitch.
like as the rubble is smoking, like it's not even like there are still like there's just charcoal everywhere,
right.
Yeah.
and bits of Mimi. I mean, it's bad here, and this lady's just like, "Well, sucks to be you. This is the worst day of your life, isn't it? Well,
For me, it is
it's
a
about
Tuesday.
to get even worse." Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yep. And so we know, and he gives her like $1,000. She's like, "Here," and she's like, "Do you want a receipt?" And he's like, "Fuck you, no." And that's when he decides he's going to track down, or well, he goes to the cop. Well, no, wait, never mind.
Not yet.
He doesn't have money. He doesn't have a buddy.
This
There's
is when he goes
really any-
home, right? I think he's just like,
I think this is the point where, well, yeah, because the gangsters get the newspaper that has covered this story and how the barmaid has died,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh my god, does that make us accomplices?"
we fucked up again.
Yeah. And Mario's like, "Tony, this is going bad, man. We should get out while we can.
Is Mario a little bit?
Let's put it this way. Mario is the only person in this movie that has a character arc.
He's the only one who even tries.
Yeah, literally the only person in this movie with any sort of character arc.
Yeah.
Because he starts out pretty shitty, but he's kind of, it's kind of like he is the Lou Ferrigno.
He's the Billy.
To Tony's Reb Brown. And he's just, because like when the guys are beating up Tony, he comes in, he's like, oh, hey, and he just beats the crap out of all of them.
Right.
And they also wallop some dude with a bat.
Yeah.
Right in the gut.
Yeah.
We skipped that part.
Tony does get a good wallop in the gut.
Oh my god, yeah, he
Oh
fucking
no, there was a one of the
cracks
random,
that dude with a bat.
After he gets back, Tony goes and grabs the bat because they had him like dead to rights. And it was this random like Bobby Moynihan looking guy that comes running in and just fucking gets checked to the gut hard.
Yeah, that dude got the rib breaker.
Yeah.
Just a full slab right there, man.
Just fucking dinger swinging for the fences.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a solid triple at least.
At least
At
off the wall.
least a stand-up double.
Yeah, but he's like, Tony, are we accomplices to this? He's like, no, but now we just gotta gotta make this happen now. They got nowhere else to turn.
Yeah,
and I don't even remember. I think we get all diverted into the whole subplot with the photographer lady that nobody cares about. That doesn't go anywhere.
Maybe, yeah. Because I mean, at first, like we don't know that Al Young is like an undercover cop, which spoilers he is.
Yeah.
And him following her seemingly menacingly is like making sure she doesn't get too close and get killed. So, because he at one point I believe he confronts her, but the albino Asian guy is there, and he has to like. I think that's when they actually capture her. He's like, "Oh yeah, I found her. We're bringing her in," even though he's trying to tell her like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yes.
Yeah.
Very confusing scene for everyone involved.
Right.
Yeah.
But I believe this is when Tony and Mario just go back to the house and just we don't see it, but they apparently have just convinced.
Yeah,
Billy to get in
we
the
see
car.
Reb Brown jogging up the sidewalk, and we see the two of them shutting the doors on their car and booking it the fuck out of there from the front of Reb Brown's house. And then he's like, Billy, and he's running around yelling Billy, but Billy's not there.
And then we get the scene inside the car with Tony and Mario and Billy. And
yeah, they basically convinced him. Scott's gone out of town. He asked us to look out for you, and do you want to do something to help him? Like their whole angle is like, you want to help him fix the bar, right? So, and to do that, we gotta get him a present, and we need money, and you're gonna wrestle for us.
And they bring him back
get to that eventually. But.
And they bring him back to their shitty apartment and are feeding him Subway sandwiches or something.
Not even. It's like lettuce and bread. And he's like, you got any pickles?
So a Subway sandwich.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But it's like a table full of sandwiches. And honestly, Lou Ferrigno is just chewing fucking scenery on this one.
He really is.
And he side bites the sub, too, just to show that he's kind of special. Is that like, it's like he's got it, it's a half foot long sub, but he just goes in like sideways. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a monster move.
Yeah, it's weird. But like, so Tony's getting mad, and then Mario's playing the good guy, and I think this is where Mario's like, well, he's not such a he's a swell fella. I can't be totally mean to him.
Yeah. I think Tony just kind of realizes, or Mario realizes he kind of likes the guy.
Yeah, and also that maybe Tony's just a big old shithead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Following Tony has
gotten
Mario nowhere.
Yeah, as if it wasn't evident by Tony. Like, imagine Tony's pitch for this plan was like, all right, listen, there's this brain-damaged guy with basically the mind of a child. How about if we get him to do our cage fight for us? He's like, let me tell you a story. It's called Of Mice and Mixed Martial Arts.
Oh, God. All right, episode title.
He hit him with the Steinbeck.
I mean, how do you pitch this? And how does Mario go along with it?
I really don't know. It sounds like some Vince McMahon shit is what it sounds like.
I was going to say, like, before, I'm glad I didn't, but I was like, it sounds like you're describing the WWF.
Yeah.
Like you want to find some people with brute strength and minds of the children.
Pretty much. Hello, Ultimate Warrior.
But anyway, he's like, okay, yeah, I'll help. I'll help you guys. And they're never like, no, you're going to like fight.
They tell him he's going to wrestle.
Yeah, they're telling him, oh, you do some wrestling. You like wrestling, right? He's like, yeah, I like wrestling. I have brain damage. I love wrestling.
As if it's a requirement. It kind of is.
Sorry, wrestling fans. You know I love you. I don't get it.
I would like to
I
state
just
for the
don't
record
get it.
that Harlow and I are wrestling fans
I don't get it.
of a certain persuasion.
I'll never get it.
It's fun.
I don't get it. Anyway, but meanwhile, Red Brown goes to the cops and is like, listen, my friend's missing. I don't know if he's been kidnapped or what. And the cops are basically just dicks to him. They're like, dude's not a minor. He's like, he's not a minor, but he has like, he has the mind of a child right now. They're like, well, if he was 18 or younger, we'd probably be able to get somebody on it immediately, but you're just going to have to wait till I got somebody who, can do it. They're like, yeah, he's like, does he just wander off? Got any favorite places?
Yeah.
And Red Brown's like, don't you think I would have checked already?
Yeah. And
the cop is just very dismissive of a person who's like, no, I have this missing person I'm very concerned about.
Yeah. But the cop also has a pink mug with a fucking demon tattoo.
Yeah. Because he says,
screen printed on it.
He says, well, does he have any enemies or anybody who doesn't like him?
Give me a second on this scene because
I know.
I understand jump to conclusion things in movies, sure, right? I mean,
there's a lot.
Well, I mean,
but this is not a jump to conclusion.
This is just like one of the most like lazy, what the fuck, no, absolutely not, dumb Kaiser Sose things I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this cop just has like obviously like a shitty like mall screen printed coffee mug that just happens to have the exact same stylized devil that Diablo Branscombe Richmond has as a tattoo, which they never really particularly focused on. It was never like, look at this, like they never did that. Like, this is the identifying mark that that Charles Bronson remembers about this guy, and like that's how he's gonna find him. It's just like, okay, his name's Diablo. Sure, he has a fucking devil tattoo because that's on the nose.
Where did this devil tattoo mug come from?
Right, exactly. And why would the fucking cop, like,
why would the cop have it?
Fucking barbershop quartet. I don't know. This scene just pissed me the fuck off. I don't know why. Because he just sees this coffee mug. He's like, oh yeah, and then like goes to look for Branscombe Richmond.
The fucking coffee mug has been sitting there the whole time, and it took him, in movie time, like 20 minutes of arguing with this cop to see that mug right there. Anyhow, he Reb senses it, and
Reb, and this is when Reb hits the streets, man.
A Reb flashback.
Yeah. He goes after one guy just because he sees a dude in the same color bandana.
He almost runs him over with his sweet Jeep.
He was just pushing some trash in his way to get his attention. But and then he roughs him up and gets a general idea of where to look for El Diablo, which he just gives him the pool hall, and he goes in there and with a shotgun and is like, I'm come here to kick ass and chew scenery. But he's the guy who actually did the murder, the arson murder is there. And this is what precipitates the car chase. Like he sees him, that guy slips out the back, and they.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a fight scene. He beats people with a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
He kicks, chucks some dude into the bar. There's
one large lady comes out with like dual butterfly knives or something, and then this is like, you're not gonna hit a lady, and he just kind of like, shotgun. He shotgun butts the knives out of her hand and then just punches her in the face. And
I think she says
you're not gonna shoot a lady.
You wouldn't shoot a lady.
Yeah, he doesn't shoot a lady, but
he does not kill any of these people. But then he runs out and he sees the one guy getting away, so he hops in his sweet Jeep, and that's when we get a car chase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's him in a sweet Jeep chasing this kind of nondescript dude's car. I mean, it is like a lowrider. It does have like hydraulics and stuff, but then another group of guys are in like a nondescript Lincoln behind him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, chasing after Reb Brown.
Yeah, and basically at one point they catch up enough to shoot a bullet like through his windshield, and he does this like sweet, almost like J-turn reverse thing, throw down his like Jeep. They have the drop roof or windscreen, window thing, and and just like shoots the shotgun in the driver's general area.
I just love that he's like,
you shot at me?
No, but like when he shoots anything, like whenever he shoots a gun, he's like, fuck you, or shit. Like he's just randomly swearing, but he's like, "Fuck you," and he shoots the driver, and that car gets ramped.
It does.
Yeah.
He
doesn't
must have
explode,
killed the
though.
driver. Yeah.
Yeah, he killed the driver, but that got rid of that batch. But he eventually catches up with the dude who has parked and then gone directly to to Branscombe and is like, "Hey man, he's coming." And he's like, "Then why'd you bring him here, you fucking idiot?"
Well, the guy says, I think his name is Mino or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't worry, I didn't lead him here at all. I totally lost him." And then as soon as he says that, Reb Brown
You
rolls
hear
up in the
Reb
Jeep.
Brown
Yeah.
rolling
Yeah.
up, and he sends the other guy. He's like, "Go stop him," and the other guy goes out and promptly gets shotgunned over a couch.
Immediately.
Like he has not killed anybody yet, but he's like not fucking around now. He's like, "Oh, you're dead."
Yep.
Yeah, gets blasted over the couch, gets Branscombe kind of cornered, and he's like, "Where's Billy?" And he's like, "Dude, I don't know who fucking Billy is, man, and we didn't know she was going to be in there." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "We didn't know. They just gave us the money to burn it down, man."
Yeah, I understand his point, but like that can't be your fucking excuse, man.
Yeah.
When you burn someone's
Yeah. I only meant to
friend,
commit one crime, not two.
Yeah.
I only meant to burn your bar down. I didn't mean to accidentally burn someone else down as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't play, man. You just
Yeah.
have to you just have to shoot yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you have taken money to burn someone's bar down and then accidentally killed their
but
friend in the
does he
middle.
at least tell him that like they probably want him for the fights, or like
I
he
don't
basically
think so.
gives him like the Italian dudes, but he basically says the Italian dudes did it.
Yeah, he doesn't give up why, but
Yeah, I
he
think
gives
he
up.
just said, I think he gives up the name Tony and something about he works down in like Chinatown area. I think is like pretty much all he gives
They
up.
have a house down in
Yeah.
Chinatown or an
Yeah.
apartment or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he just
But then
literally
he-
goes to Chinatown area and
Well, he tries to pull a knife on Branscombe,
Right.
or Branscombe tries to pull a knife on Reb and promptly gets shotgun for that.
Yeah.
And then the other dude is finally like, "No, I'm going to fuck you up," and Reb's like, "No, you're not." And
Does he shotgun him or
he does not shotgun him.
does he have a pocket Molotov? Is he ready to
the-
go?
there-
Oh, that's right.
The stove was running.
That's
Someone
what it
was
was,
making
okay.
something,
Yeah.
so he just immediately makes a Molotov
Right.
and gives that man the ticket to Burning Man.
That's right. Yes.
Keep in mind, this is the guy who killed Mimi, basically. So
Yeah,
it's
he
like
just-
poetry.
This
It
is a-
rhymes.
This is a very good revenging.
Yeah, that guy dies in the same manner.
Mhm.
So,
Alone and on fire.
yep,
Hoisted by his non-retarded clobbering.
on flame
Yeah.
retardant.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that guy burns, and they do like they linger on Reb Brown's face with a shotgun as if he's gonna like shotgun the guy and put him out of his misery, and then he just doesn't.
Oh, the guy is actually like screaming, "Shoot me!" as he's on fire. And he's just like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Yeah.
It's a choice, and I approve.
Yeah, if that asshole's begging for his life, like, nope. Afraid not, friend, or non-friend,
Right.
murderer, non-friend.
And
Yeah.
that guy wanted to murder people anyway.
Yeah,
so,
that guy was a dick.
yeah.
Yeah.
He deserved to die, and I hope he burns in hell
I mean, you know,
continuously,
most people
more than he was already burning.
I mean, look, liberal, conservative, whatever. I mean, most people want to see people like, pay for their crimes in some sort of way, at least
Yeah.
in like, if not like just self reflection, if nothing
Mm-hmm.
else. I mean, what's the worst? Like he gave him an extra like 20 seconds of self reflection. Really, I mean, it was painful self reflection.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Most self-reflection
yeah.
is.
But yeah, I mean, really, it's just like all he did was he was asking for like 20 extra seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that whole side storyline has been resolved.
Mm-hmm.
And now I guess it's up to finding Tony and company.
Yeah, and
Which-
he just starts with like literal random people on the street in Chinatown of like, hey, do you know where the underground cage fights are? And they're like, fuck if I know. And then I swear it's like the second people, they're like, I don't know, we might could tell you.
All right, this is gonna tell my age so badly, but like back when I was on BBS's, I'd be
Uh-huh.
like, "Hey
Oh, yeah.
man, you got a Where's area?" Like this is what
Yeah,
he's doing.
just
he's
post
walking
it
around
and
he's like,
open, yeah.
"Hey man, you guys trade games? Where's?"
Yeah.
And that was like 90% of the places I went to were just like blocked. You never
Yeah.
call this number again. And then there was like the 10% were like, "Yeah man, what do you got?"
Right.
But this is what I guess this was his plan. Was just like, hey man, maybe somebody will tell me about the illegal underground cage fight, man.
Yeah, but it's like the literally like second people, like and they're like honestly, I'm surprised that this wasn't like a very short con. But I mean, like it depends on how much money you got. And I don't know, let's say he pulled out $50, $60, whatever.
He pulled out a wad of cash out of his shirt pocket.
It felt like for him, it was probably mostly ones and stuff. But anyway, I'm just saying, like whatever he hands them, they're like they're like go 2 streets down, take a left, and it's on your left. And they actually told him the right fucking place because he goes there, and it's like next thing you know, we've seen kind of like the actually as part of the opening or the post credits because we had the romantic theme song over it. But when we saw 10 walk in there the first time, we had this like him go down the secret elevator and intercut with the fighting happening. So we've kind of seen this entrance before, and when he shows up, we're like, oh shit, they actually told him where it is, and he's there. But so he tries to sneak in and then just eventually gets caught.
He tries to hit 2 guys, and then the albino Asian guy. Yeah, Mia's like, "What are you doing here?" He's got a gun on him.
Yeah, and just gets thrown in the room, like the room right behind him, which has Al Leong, which we didn't even mention that. Yeah, the secondary Italian gangster, the higher up, actual true Italian gangster is showing up.
Because we have Tony presenting. Right. Hey, I got a fighter. He's ready. He'll take on your guy. I'm going to put money on it. And that's when he's like, oh, you don't have any money. I know you don't have any money because you haven't paid me back yet. So, and he's like, well, I could put up my car. He's like, I have no need for an automobile. And then as he's basically like trying to talk his way into it, that's when the big boss guy.
Costello, I think.
Yes, Costello.
Yeah, Costello comes in. And he's like, hey,
I bet.
What's going on here?
Sorry. What? Hey.
Yeah, that is that's not just old man reference. Okay. That's dead man reference. But so he comes in and he's like, I want a piece of the action in here.
This is Al Ruccio, by the way.
Yeah. And he's like, well, he's like, I don't care what I got to do. I got a fighter. He'll fight. And he's like, well, you can't just take on my champion. You have to work your way up. And his version of working your way up is winning literally one fight and then fighting his champion like 20 minutes later.
Against anyone. It doesn't even seem to matter.
It's such a dick move.
Yeah, this is basically like the Dark Knight. Like, I only have one room on my crew. Like, snap the pool cue in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like, let your 2 guys fight, and whichever one wins is the one that's going to get to fight my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And Costello's fighter is an Italian guy. That's all they say.
Yeah,
he's an Italian guy.
Yeah.
But it is beloved BMFcast alum Matthias Hues.
Yep.
Or Hues. Or Hues. However you like to pronounce it.
Are you a British person trying to say Hyundai?
Yeah.
Aluminium.
Yes. Yeah. Matthias Aluminium.
Yeah. But Antonio has also made a bet like, hey, if my guy wins, you erase my debt.
That's his bet with Costello.
Yeah. And Costello's like, well, what if you lose? And he's like, I'll work for you for a year. He's like, we'll figure something out,
Costello
buddy.
knows he's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
like,
Costello's
I've seen your work.
Yeah, Costello's like, we'll figure something out. And then just kind of gives him the little face pat thing. Yeah.
I love Al Ruccio in this. He's just fucking delightful.
Oh, God. But he's also very racist against Asians.
Well, that part is not delightful.
Will not recall any of their names correctly.
No.
And will gleefully say the wrong ones.
What is it? Like, I'm trying to think. Like, it's sort of like just, being an asshole, like getting things wrong when you know you're getting them wrong.
Yeah, he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah. It's just like, why don't you? What was it? Like Chang was the main guy, and it was like.
He's like, ping pong Chang. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it was like, let me fight Chump or whatever his name is. And he's like, Chunk or something like that. And it was like, it's Chang. And he's like, whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, so this is set up where now Lou Ferrigno, still not understanding what is happening here.
He thinks he's going to wrestle.
Yeah, has to fight Matthias.
Matthias Hughes.
What?
Yeah.
Hughes? It's not spelled Hughes.
It's not?
No, Hughes is Hughes. This is Hues.
As in colors?
He's fucking with you.
Well, I mean, I have a hard time hearing letters and translating them into words. I'm a visual person, so it's like, you just spelled it like colors.
From here, like, the fight has to happen now. And Lou Ferrigno's just like, oh, wrestling is fun. And then they're like, get in there and fucking kill him.
It doesn't like.
And he's like, I'm just going to wrestle. And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, well, whatever you do, get in there and win.
Yeah.
And isn't he's his first move to just like
Oh, just
drop kick
fucking
him to the
drop kick.
face?
He reaches his hand out. And he's like, hi, I'm Billy.
Good to meet you. Have a good
And
fight.
he gets drop kicked to the face.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, he's like, that's not in the rules. Yeah.
Ruined.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he gets his ass kicked for a while. He's like, this isn't fair.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this?
It's the second fight where we thought he was getting punched back to normal, right? It's not this
yeah,
fight.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the second-
it's not this
all right,
fight.
Yeah, all right.
Because this
Just make
fight,
sure,
he
yeah.
finally just gets pissed off and
Right.
fucking works him.
Yeah. Oh, God, he does.
Yeah.
He gives him the business.
Yeah.
By the way, Matthias Hughes is wearing like shockingly blue tights.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to recognize him.
He just looks
because
like a
he's-
wrestler.
Yeah. And he's constantly in motion.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like AJ Styles.
A little bit. A little bit.
I mean, the it's not him.
trunks, yeah.
Like him, not at all.
no. He looks like a Triple H more than anything in this.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But anyway, he wins.
Yeah, he does. He beats the absolute dog shit out of him.
Yeah, and Tony's like, yes, yes. And then Lou Ferrigno's like, oh, that hurt. I don't like this.
Yeah. And they
And they're as they're trying to take him to the back, he's like, oh yeah, see, like, we're good, and he gets his money, and that's when
Tin shows up.
Tin shows up and he's like, all right, you get to fight my fighter. He's like, cool, so we'll be back next week. He's like, in 30 minutes. And he's like, what? No.
And dude is like, in 30 minutes time. Just so fucking dramatic about it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So then they're back there, and Lou Ferrigno's just like, that hurt. I'm not doing that again. And then Mario has to buddy up to him and is basically just like,
Oh, this is
Dude.
one of the Oscar scenes, really.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
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 Pulls in close, and he's like, you love Scott, right? You do anything for him. Well, me and Tony, we're like the same thing here. And
he's just like,
we're
it's
all
so
gonna
hard.
that
I
guy's
don't
gonna
like
kill us, and I don't want to get killed. You know.
Do you want to get killed? He'll probably kill Scott too. You don't want Scott to get killed, right?
And this is still fucking scumbaggery on Mario's
is.
part.
It's not super.
No.
It is not.
No.
Yeah. But meanwhile, Tony's just hanging out in the background, like, huh? And then and then
Well,
Lou Ferrigno,
Tony tried to yell at him.
yeah.
Tony tried to
and
yell at Billy.
Lou Ferrigno almost killed him.
Yeah.
Like immediately, he's like up in his face, like, I will
We
fucking
slapped
end
him
you.
across
Yeah,
the
he
face.
gave him
yeah.
a little like, come on, kind of slap,
Snap
not
out
like
of
not really like a, harm intended slap.
No,
Yeah.
but Lou Ferrigno didn't take it well.
Sure, you don't
Billy
slap Lou Ferrigno. That's disrespectful.
That's true.
You don't talk on Superman's cave.
Yeah. But
What?
I do like that at the end, Billy's like, I just want ice cream. And he's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
get you some ice cream.
I'll do it, but can I have some ice cream
And then he
first?
goes to the back, and we're like, is he going to pull ice cream out of that locker back there? And it's like, no.
It's just a cabinet.
Yeah. But he does
Billy
tell,
never gets his ice cream. Justice for Billy.
No.
he does tell Tony, he's like, fuck this, man. This is bullshit, what we're doing. So, slight character arc.
Yeah, I mean, he actually was trying to get him out of the cage the first fight. Like as soon as they
Yeah,
locked him
he
in,
was
he was
like-
just like, "I can't believe we're doing this. Like that guy has a mind of a child. This isn't right."
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bad guy actually showing remorse in
Yeah.
one of these movies.
But he
Like-
still
and being like,
went back
"What-"
to
Yeah.
extreme scumbaggery with that fucking
Yes.
sob story.
Well, also his life was in danger. So,
I mean,
yeah.
fair, but also
Fair, but also still shitty.
still
Yes.
shitty.
Completely. Yeah, but he's got to fight the other dude. And so
gotta
they
fight
have to get him
Chang.
back out there.
Right. And in the middle of this,
Chang starts winning. Basically, he starts kicking his ass.
well, yeah.
and he gets him in like this
Well-
kind of backwards headlock thing, like his
Yeah.
like face away from him, and
He just
he's
starts.
just rocking him in the temple where he got shot.
Right.
Yeah.
And each time he punches, we get a little like
we get a flashback.
a little flashback, a little like semi-transparent flashback of him getting shot in the head in Vietnam.
And honestly, like I think we all were like, he's getting punched back to being smart.
yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly thought he was gonna just like
Did he dislodge the bullet?
He
Like
was
now Lou Ferrigno's normal?
I don't know. I don't know what range. Like we didn't get a lot of time with not bullet damaged Lou Ferrigno
No,
to know
not at
who
all.
he was. So I'm saying, like, I don't know if you go like full Shakespearean, like, like what art thou doing here?
Yeah.
I am normal.
But no, all it does is like trigger his rage centers in his brain
That's true,
because he goes he goes fucking nuts.
He hit him right in the medulla oblongata.
Yeah, and just that's when he like really cuts loose and starts beating the absolute shit out of him.
And he beats him pretty bad. But then his finishing move is he reaches up and jumps up and grabs the bar of the cage, gets him in a head scissors.
Yep.
And fucking snaps the dude's neck with his legs.
You get that good celery snap.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, it's sort of the Lethal Weapon move. I mean, like the, cracking. Yeah. I mean, I was just saying, we don't see that in too many movies where somebody's hanging and does the leg crack thing.
Yep.
He's like, all right, I'm done. I can't take this anymore. They get him out of the cage, and
I think they drag him back to the locker room, and that's when.
Well,
that's when
actually Red
escapes.
Brown and company are already in the locker room. They've escaped their captivity by burning their pants and stuff.
Yeah, like they both take off their shirts and they have undershirts under,
right.
and then they look at her and she's like, "I'm not taking my shirt off." But the rest of the movie, she's running around in just a long shirt with no pants on.
Well, we get a little cut there, and it cuts to her from the legs down, and it's like,
I mean, she's basically kind of Winnie the Pooh in the rest of the movie.
Yep.
Shirt cocking it.
Yep.
Donald Duck.
But yeah, that's all. Is they light a fire and they use her pants as kindling.
Yes.
Liar.
To smoke out the place.
And the world's worst guards
both
come through, bumbling into each other like three fucking stooges.
Yep.
And
then they died.
Yeah, they fucking
because they were locked
hired their guards on Fiverr. I mean, what the hell?
Right.
Like, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Awful. So they make it to the locker room area where Billy and Tony and Mario.
But also, like, they've been told, like, the boss has put money on it, on Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, he put $500,000 or $1 million.
Or $1 million. And then,
the first time it was $500,000, which is weird because he's like, spoilers, they're about to make him fight a third time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, because like the big dramatic thing was like, I'm going to put all my money on this next one. He's amazing. And then he's like, what do you say to $500,000? And I'm like, that's what you just bet on the last one. And then like the upping the game is, Ten's like,
if I thought
maybe
you were
$1
serious,
million.
you would have bid $1 million.
And I was like, wow, you doubled it. That's like your standard Vegas bet. I mean, I know $1 million is a lot of money, especially now in 1989. But I mean, still, when you say like I'm going to bet it all, it's not double what you just bet.
Yeah. But
especially when he was talking about like, oh, I heard your racket brings in millions of dollars.
Right. Yeah.
I'm the Italian mafia. I'm getting in on your turf. Like when you're big dicking a guy who rakes in millions of dollars just from fights.
Right. Yeah.
You can afford more than
just
that.
Weird. But yeah, they are Red Brown and Al Young and the reporter lady or whatever she is are all in the locker room and they're dragging Lou Ferrigno back from the second fight.
Like he's won both fights, but he's gotten the shit kicked out of him. Yeah. He is in rough shape.
Especially after this one, because this is where he was getting his head rocked over and over again.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but they all end up in there, and Red Brown's like, buddy, you're still alive. You're not okay. That's for sure.
And there's not an immediate, like, he doesn't, I mean, I guess he doesn't get a lot of time, but there is no immediate conflict between him and Tony and Mario. Like, it should be like, you fucking guys took my friend, but he's just like, he's all about like, are you okay? What happened wrong? What's wrong with you? And then 10 comes on and is basically like, fight number 3, best 3 out of 5.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, and check it out, the cop and the reporter, and you are in here. And basically Red Brown negotiates, all right, if I win, everyone goes free. Yeah. Including the cop.
Well, yeah, 10 is like if you don't fight, then everyone in this room will die. Yeah. Red Brown is like, okay, well, I'll do the fighting. Yeah. And then negotiates for everybody to get released if they win.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to let Al Young go because
he's a cop.
He's a cop.
It's a bad call.
But he does anyway. So Red Brown goes in wearing nothing but his action jeans and
he's got to fight the East Coast champion,
British Knights or New Balance, whatever kinds of shoes you would wear.
I don't think was New Balance around then. I feel like New Balance is kind of new-ish brand. I mean, compared to like
he's got dad sneaks.
Maybe he had Asics.
Regardless,
remember Asics?
Yeah. Maybe they're just Reeboks. I don't know.
They're Pumas. You could have a pair of Pumas. Yeah, but he fights and he wins. I mean, it's a better choreographed fight than the Lou Ferrigno ones, because the Lou Ferrigno ones, there's a lot of cut away as he swings at a dude type stuff.
Reb Brown's not that great at fighting either.
No.
Well, I mean, let's think about Lou Ferrigno's actual history.
Yeah.
He's not a fighter. He's a bodybuilder.
Yep.
Like,
I know.
Yeah. Never was. Like,
Yeah.
never, like, I don't know that he ever had any kind of professional fighting experience
You would
whatsoever.
think he'd
Clearly
learn
not.
from, like, the Incredible Hulk or something. And also, apparently...
He was usually just picking up styrofoam boulders and throwing them at people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But you'd think, right? Like, you might learn something.
Nope.
Apparently, Lou Ferrigno, according to the IMDb trivia, did a bunch of research on underground cage match fighting, soldier life after injuries, PTSD, and
Reb Brown did not.
Reb Brown did not.
Yeah.
But
well,
He
it paid off. I
declined.
mean, that gold is on his mantle now forever. Oh, wait. No, it's not.
That would not come until Cage 2.
Right.
right,
Electric Boogaloo.
submitted for your consideration. Cage 2.
But I mean, Reb wins the fight, and then he's like, "All right, man, now we all get to go." And how does the gunfight start? I don't even remember now. I just know he wins, and the
Oh, well, basically,
Tin
all
is
right, so, like,
pissed.
yeah, he wins. Costello's like, I want that $1 million now. And 10 is basically just like, hey, business associate guy who hasn't really done any paying, I think his name was, is like, shoot him.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and then
he kills the mob
Yeah, he
boss.
just shoots Costello, and then everyone's like, what? And all of it, everybody's guys start drawing guns on everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And this is where Mario completes his arc,
Yeah.
as it were, and somebody, maybe the albino-looking dude, somebody starts shooting at Billy,
Yeah.
and Mario jumps in front of him.
Yeah. And Mary's like, "No."
Takes a bullet for him.
Yeah.
He's like, dun, 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 dun. I'm invincible.
Yeah. He is
But
not.
He is not.
It's not, no.
Do 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 do.
Yeah. He gets perforated.
Lou Ferrigno is like, oh no,
Yeah.
Mario.
He's like, "Mario, my buddy," and a lot of people get shot, but none of them that we care about, really.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 gets killed in the crossfire by...
Does Tony
no.
get shot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tony
gets shot.
Tony gets capped, but Tin, the boss, he gets crushed by Lou Ferrigno.
Oh,
That's
He
right,
tries to run
yeah.
by. Lou Ferrigno grabs him and literally just crushes his chest cavity.
Just a bear hug.
true bear
Just
hug,
a-
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, this is like Viper in the Mountain, except it's just this guy's chest. Because he like grabs him and he gives him a bear hug, and immediately they're doing the
and he
sound.
crumples.
Yeah, and that guy just fucking drops.
And Reb Brown runs up to him like, no, let him go, let him go. He's like, we all heard the crack from across the room
Yeah.
over the gunfire
Yeah.
and screaming.
The cops with their sirens outside that are on their way just heard that guy's every rib on that man's.
He already did let him go. His soul is gone from his body.
UCLA registered that crack on their earthquake
Seismographer.
seismographs. Thank you.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah, but they're like, and then all of a sudden Al Young's like, well, look at all this money I've just confiscated. I'm a cop, so I get to keep it. But I
Yeah.
heard somebody was trying to start a bar to open, huh?
So he gives them $1 million.
He just tosses
In
them the
cash.
briefcase full of cash.
Yeah, like fucking Mean Joe Brown or Mean Joe Green to
Yeah.
the fucking
Yeah.
kid. Like, oh, whatever, it's no good, no big deal. Just
Yeah.
$1 million in evidence.
And he does this in front of all the other cops
cops.
that are there.
Yeah.
Like the cops are like, oh, they're swarming the
They
place.
didn't know. I mean, okay, silver briefcase generally says it's full of money.
Right.
I mean, I've never seen anyone have a silver briefcase for any other reason. Oh, except for maybe like
Drugs?
the nuclear football.
Nuclear
Yeah.
football, yeah.
Or poker chips.
Sure.
Okay, but not like the big fat. I mean,
No.
Yeah,
this would be
nobody-
this,
Not like
this would
this.
be like 3 deep poker chips.
Yeah.
You know.
Nobody slings a Halliburton case full of, poker chips at somebody
Yeah.
else.
So
It's always
Anyway.
money or drugs.
Yeah, man.
I've made like 14 like references of things in this episode that happened before I was alive, and I don't know why I'm doing that today. Just sorry.
You miss Chuck. And
I
his
do.
old
I
man
do. I
references.
I want Chuck back.
We all do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So-
But that's how it ends.
And then we get one final shot, and it is of the front of Billy's Oyster Bar and Grill.
Yep. They found a random place named Billy's
And took a photo of it.
and took a photo of it and freeze framed that over the credits.
Yep.
And that's the end of
end.
Cage.
No Stargrove.
No, the song is too vague.
Also, the rest of the soundtrack is fucking
Oh, it's
awful.
It's tinkly tink MIDI shit.
I would like to point out two things
Okay.
from the same scene, and they're from the barroom brawl scene. We get legally distinct from Bad Moon Rising.
Yeah,
And then
that's right.
Well, first it was Green Onions, but that was like actually Green Onions. So I guess that's just a
Yeah.
generic enough song that you can do that.
I feel
mean,
like it was a
possibly-
cover of Green Onions.
Yeah.
It's,
I really feel like it was a cover.
But then
of
it's
it.
immediately followed by legally distinct from Green River.
Mhm.
It sounds like somebody who came first place in the John Fogerty sing-alike competition.
It's like the lack of Credence Clearwater Revival.
yes, yeah, yeah. Creedence Clearwater replica.
Yeah. It's Creed
yeah.
Clearwater Revival.
It's not quite that bad,
Yeah.
but it's very, 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 very close. Like John Fogerty would take you to court for less. And so would
And
the rest
win.
of Creedence.
And
yeah,
win.
And win, yeah. But yeah, it's all over but in the
Yeah.
ratings now.
Well, I also want to note in that fight scene after it ends, every once in a while they just decide to Foley in the sound of the Tempest machine in the background.
It's not a Tempest machine sound. It
Or-
is a random-ass video game sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's
so
implied to
bad.
be the Tempest.
It's just, yeah, it's like somebody has hacked into the mainframe from, the net. Like,
Yeah.
Bumby dumder.
Dumby Dumber D, indeed. So,
Rating time.
ratings.
I can go.
Yeah.
This movie's kind of frustrating because, like, there are some things to like about it, like especially the cast and stuff is full of people that we enjoy. I don't know, like it's kind of a mess because it can't decide if it wants to be a full-on action movie or a drama or whatever. And all that being said, I think the best I can do is two jocks. Like it's fine, but like it just probably didn't need the whole like special needs section. Like, I mean, I'm just saying that I mean, I understand that's a big part of the plot in the way that it's written, but like it just probably didn't need that. Like, I mean, I just feel like you just rope some guy into a cage match. Like, just write that story. You don't need the, like I said, I mean, I'm sorry to keep bringing up Heart of the Dragon if you know the Jackie Chan Sammo Hung movie, but it's bad if you don't know it.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, just like you tell him that his buddy is in trouble and this is the only way to save his life is to
I'm just saying, like, I don't
fight.
even know that you need that. Like, and first off, it doesn't make any sense. It's 20 years later from Nam. They haven't aged a minute. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's all very strange. Like, I understand, like, it was all the rage to put Vietnam plot things in your 80s movie. Like, just like, well, I mean, it was honestly like
required.
Vietnam was basically the male Mary Sue for a long time. It was just like, well, just say they were in Nam and like that'll explain why they can do fucking anything. I mean, let's be honest. Like,
Yeah.
so I just I get that, but like it doesn't make any sense from time frame and like it just it's not necessary. Like,
Agreed.
Yeah, you just make it so that Reb Brown saves your life because there's 3 exchanges of life theoretically. There's Reb Brown saved his life. He saved Reb Brown's life. And then Reb Brown saves his life.
and then a DJ saved them the night before, I believe.
Yeah, from a broken heart. Just make it one life save swap. Reb Brown saves his life. He has to save Reb Brown's life. Gets mixed up with these mobsters at the end.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mess.
I think Lou Ferrigno really wanted to push his acting abilities.
And, he did. And I think he reached
The pinnacle
the
of
pinnacle
Lou Ferrigno's
of his
acting abilities.
of his ability, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's actually, despite the fact that you, like, I don't like the playing a brain damaged thing or, sort of playing a mentally handicapped person, that sort of thing. Sometimes he's really charming.
Yeah.
Which is like, it part of me feels like it's shitty to say that, but sometimes it's just real cute for Lou Ferrigno to be kind of childlike and having a good time.
Agreed.
I think we just all want a big muscly guy like that to be super friendly and cuddly. I mean, I think like that's really what it is, and it's
Agreed.
it's shitty that you have to have diminished mental capacity to achieve that. Like, why couldn't you just be nice?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't know where to rate this yet, so Mackie, I'm going to let you go.
I actually agree with Two Jocks.
Yeah.
I think it's fun enough. It's got a fun cast. Reb Brown does a lot of yelling. He yells immediately. Like his first thing in the movie is yelling. Yeah. And just like we didn't really key in on much of it, but there's a lot of him just going fucker, and just like
Also, like I don't think we ever mentioned throughout the whole. It's weird because like one of Tony's little things, and it started making me question the rating on this movie for a little while because he likes to substitute shit where there should be a fuck.
Yeah.
He's like, "What the shit are you thinking?" And it's like, "Who says that?" Like,
I say that all the time.
Sometimes, but like, it's just it doesn't feel as natural.
Yeah, in the beginning, Tony tells somebody to shut the shit up.
Yeah. That was what it was, and it was just like, for a second, I was like, is this not rated R? And they're just like saving their fuck for one time.
I don't
like,
know. Not in 1989.
Okay.
Nobody gave a shit then.
Yeah.
Or was it a fuck? I don't know.
I don't know.
The world may never know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the best Reb Brown. And it's weird because it's like, I don't want to say it's four main characters, but it almost feels like Reb Brown, Lou Ferrigno, Tony, and Mario are all main characters.
Yeah.
Because they kind of have equal screen time.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And it comes off as a little weird. Like Reb Brown is ostensibly the hero of the movie, and he's not in it for a lot of it.
Oh, Lou Ferrigno's the top billed person, but I mean that could just be fame from television or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
But he also has more screen time than screen time than Reb Brown, which I guess he ought to have. He was a bigger star, but yeah,
it's just weird in that regard.
Yeah, I'm in a weird place because the fun things about this movie make it like a Four Jocks movie. There's a world where if they didn't fuck everything up, it could be a Five Jocks movie.
Yeah.
But the stuff like the truncated side plot with the reporter / cop or whatever, and the fact that this movie just takes a while to do everything it's doing, really hurts it.
I mean,
the lingering shots, the poor editing.
Oh, only because I semi-mentioned it before, the poor editing and the bad match cut. One of the biggest offenders of this was there was one time where Red Brown's like, we got to get out of this locked room, and he goes for like a flying jump kick at the door, and they hard cut to somebody like storming into Ten's office and the door flying open, and like I don't know if that was like, oh, this will be clever, it'll fuck with their heads. They think it actually worked, and it totally didn't work. I don't know, but it plays off that your brain takes 5 seconds to realize, oh, we're in a totally different scene. That's not the same door. Fuck, like it's just that's to me is bad editing because.
Did I say what my rating was?
No,
Two Jocks?
no.
Oh, it's Two Jocks.
Oh, it is Two Jocks.
Two Jocks. It loses a lot for that strange pacing and the subplot and just overall like don't do this movie.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it should be better for a movie that has Danny Trejo and Al Leong sharing the same scene.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't even mention
Danny Trejo's in this movie.
Yeah, Danny Trejo is one of the bodyguards for Costello, and also we forgot to mention that the reason we find out Al Leong is a cop is because Costello recognizes him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, what's your name? I recognize you, and I
in
honestly,
a scene that goes on way too long.
Yeah, honestly, it was like. Yeah. Are you just fucking with him, or are you actually having like recall problems? Because
yeah. But no, he's like, my name's Tiger. He's like, no, he's not. This guy's a cop. Clean up your shit. Yeah, but anyway, Danny Trejo's in this.
Mm-hmm.
We're like
playing Danny.
Yeah,
Danny the bodyguard.
No speaking lines.
No, of course. And this is a young Danny Trejo, which means he was still like 40 years old.
Yeah, he still looks old.
Of course.
But yeah, I wish it were better.
Same. Maybe one day it'll be better.
Like wine, it'll just get better.
Sure.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know how movies work. Do they get better with age?
Not usually.
Do you store them?
I
somewhere?
mean, typically no. Like, I mean, yeah. Just go
Anyway,
back and look at the works of D.W. Griffith.
Good point.
I feel like if somebody wants to say something to us, they better do it soon.
Yes, because something that will not age is this
No.
podcast beyond a few more episodes.
Yeah.
It's going to be the end soon. So if you have something to say, 9045 Jacks BMF, 904-556. Oh, God damn it.
Wrong phone
Edit.
number.
I've been thinking about 904.
Sorry, Boston.
Sorry. If you have something to say, 9105 Jacks BMF or 910-556-9263. That's the phone number you should call.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little something about anything you want to contribute about the BMFcast history.
Yep. And if you don't want it run on the air, just say so.
Yeah.
And we won't.
Same thing with emails. If you want to email us, bmf@bmfcast.com. Tell us if you don't want it read on air, but otherwise we are going to read it on air.
Yeah. And you can send an MP3 if you want.
Oh, yeah. Or an
You know?
OGG Vorbis file.
It will be too big for the email. It will reject it.
No, it won't be. It'll
Just
be
do
fine.
an MP3. It's fine.
Or a WAV file.
We don't need 648 hertz.
Flack.
Yeah. But
Except flack and nothing else.
Yeah.
we don't need any of that. MP3. Take us back to the early 2000s.
Fine. Send us
an MP3.
Send us a noise file of
Yeah.
your speaking at us.
Yeah.
But also, in the meantime, check out the website, or we're going to keep the Discord open, so you are free to hang out with us there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need a link to that, send us an email to bmf@bmfcast.com.
Do it.
That's it. Also, there's a Patreon still. Patreon.com/bmfcast.
There's stuff that's going to be there.
Yep. All things will be there in perpetuity. Well,
Yeah.
as long as we can manage to.
Yeah.
I can't promise perpetuity
Yeah,
because
but-
next week Patreon could say, "Oh, actually, we're bankrupt and we've closed the entire site, so all your stuff is gone. Goodbye."
Yeah. So maybe download everything as fast as you can. No. I mean, we're leaving the site up. Like the actual
Sure.
website for
For as long as
I think
can.
we renewed for another year. Didn't we?
So at least another year.
Perhaps. But I don't know.
Yeah. We'll keep it going. Why not?
Anyway,
Maybe we'll post some random shit there every once in a while.
we might.
People will be like, wait, what is this?
We might turn it
I
into.
thought they left the internet forever.
It'd just be like an RSS feed that you never know what will happen.
Right.
Yeah. It could be like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Just leave for like 12 years and then be like, hey, new season.
Yeah.
Episode 601. It's 2032. How is everybody doing?
Or we'll turn it into the Internet Movie Defenestration Database, the IMDb.
Does that exist?
I mean, the BMFcast is kind of
It
the
is.
IMDb.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know there's Chopper
You sound like
Fireball.
the thing from Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
I am the thing from.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Hey, more like fuck Rogers. Anyway, let's get out of here.
Let's.
Okay.
I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ, and this is BMFcast Out. I'm apparently 16 again.
I don't know why I thought Norm MacDonald sort of insulting you. Yeah, more like fuck Rogers.
That's a big hat.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to close this whole sesh here. Good night, the internet, and Kyle.
Yeah. Sorry, Kyle. We gotta go.
It's late.
Yeah. It was a little bit longer movie. We got started a little later. It all happens for a reason.
Yep. No worries.
And that reason is so we can leave you.
Yep. I guess I got to shut this down because otherwise you're going to lose audio anyway. So
Goodbye. Farewell.